in a recent interview claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just...
Go ahead, I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment. And that's pretty gross.
Brittney Griner just got seriously called out, and not during a basketball game. Patrick Bet-David's co-host, Vincent Oshana, came in strong like peak Michael Jordan, slamming her for making a racially charged comment about Caitlin Clark. The WNBA is now looking like it completely lost touch with common sense. The criticism was so harsh it's spreading online like wildfire. Hypocrisy? Check. Regrets about past decisions? Probably, because if Griner is the face of the league, maybe they should have thought twice before trading for her and letting the Merchant of Death go.
I mean, and Adam, I know, Adam, you definitely have something to say, but, and I know Adam, I'm going to piggyback off of Adam because Adam's been saying this for a while, that this is why the WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work and never make money. And this is exactly what Caitlin Clark gets for bending the knee. Do you guys remember when she said, when we lost all respect for her, when she said, I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. And the more we can elevate black women, this is going to be a beautiful thing. That's when it was all over. And Angel Reese and Brittney Griner, they walk around like the league owes them something. Even Ryan Clark's attitude as if, bro, where's the victimhood? These are freaking millionaires. Like, what?
Let's be honest, this league is seriously unprofessional. And not just in a small, we missed a call kind of way. It's more like the locker room's on fire and someone lit the rule book on purpose. This is supposed to be professional women's basketball, not some reality show full of drama and cheap shots.
So the whole market reacts to this with Brittney Griner, right? And then the other quote, Rob, then I'm going to wrap this up and then I'm going to go to Adam. Put the quote of Brittney Griner, what she said about the NBA. This is so funny how all this stuff works out, right? She says, this is from Brittney. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. It's called a freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the...
You tune in expecting good basketball and strong leadership, but instead, you get petty insults, cheap shots, and media spin. Let's be real, no fan buys courtside tickets to watch a game turn into a personal grudge match. No one shows up to the All-Star game hoping for a racially charged comment or a dirty elbow to the throat. And yet, here we are, Caitlin Clark, America's current basketball darling, is getting targeted just for being talented, and yes, for being white.
This is what Brittney Griner calls... I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
For the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
That pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl.
But sure, let's keep pretending this is just friendly competition or rookie hazing. Meanwhile, league officials are sitting courtside, eating popcorn, acting like it's great for ratings. Spoiler, it's not. This isn't growing the game, it's tossing it into a dumpster fire and calling it a heat check.
Brittney Griner was caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark. And it doesn't take a lot of genius to lip read Brittney Griner, whose voice, by the way, is about as low as mine is, calling her trash and an effing white girl. Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark had ever suggested the same in reverse, using black as opposed to white in that sentence, that'd be the end of her WNBA career. But Brittney Griner is going strong. It's totally fine.
Let's talk about the refs, the ones who are supposed to be the adults in the room, with the whistles and the authority. At this point, you'd find more consistency in a toddler's crayon drawing. One player barely breathes on someone and gets hit with a technical, but Caitlin Clark gets shoved into the third row and the refs look like they're too busy updating their Spotify playlists. Oh, was that a foul? Sorry, I was listening to Beyoncé. The standards are so broken it feels like refs are flipping coins to make calls. Heads, it's a foul. Tails, let her get body slammed. We don't need bingo callers in stripes. We need refs who actually know the game. Fair officiating isn't a luxury, it's the bare minimum. Without it, what are we even watching? A highlight reel or a hate crime? And here's where the league itself needs to be called for a flagrant foul. Clean house. Get rid of the race baiters, the bullies in sneakers, and the benchwarmers who act like they're in a Tarantino movie. Fire the coaches who stay silent while this goes on. Drop the executives who think chaos equals good marketing. You don't build a professional league by turning it into a circus. You build it by making it a place for real talent, discipline, and respect.
I don't know for sure what was going on with what cameras caught Brittney Griner saying on the bench after she had fouled out against Caitlin Clark's Fever in Atlanta. I waited to comment on this until the WNBA was able to investigate it. I wanted them to issue a statement about it, but we have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing. And Brittney Griner has not commented, which I find...
Because here's the truth. There are women out there grinding every single day, training hard, studying film, and leading by example, just to earn a spot in this league. For them, basketball isn't a game, it's a life. And what's their reward? Sharing the court with players who act like it's a personal Twitter feud. The real professionals are being pushed to the background by headline chasers who think trash talk and dirty fouls are part of the playbook. This isn't middle school gym class. It's supposed to be the WNBA. But with every cheap shot, every ignored slur, and every missed opportunity for leadership, the league loses something: credibility, respect, and fans. Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark isn't the one dragging the league down. The league is tripping over its own mistakes, falling flat on national TV, and blaming the rookie for its own failure to grow. And don't fall for the "growing pains" excuse. Growth doesn't come from letting chaos take over. It comes from setting standards, demanding professionalism, and making it clear that racism, bullying, and cheap shots have no place here. Period. End of quarter. Now imagine a young girl watching the WNBA for the first time, dreaming of playing one day. And instead of inspiration, she sees veterans ganging up on a rookie, refs ignoring violence, and commentators pretending it's all just passion.
Sports Porters, well, we're going to talk about Brittney Griner. That's right, the WNBA's woke trifecta. She's black. She's a woman, question mark. And she is lesbian. My goodness. That is the leftist propaganda machine that actually happens to play basketball, the WNBA. That is their wet dream of a player. By the way, the whole league is ate up with that.
And the league? They're drinking the poison like it's Gatorade. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here taking elbows like she signed up for the UFC, and all we get from the league is silence, maybe a vague, passive-aggressive press release 3 days later that says absolutely nothing. The message couldn't be clearer: if you're not part of the mean girl clique, you're on your own. And let's not pretend the hypocrisy isn't off the charts. If the roles were reversed, if Caitlin Clark had said anything controversial about someone like Griner or made a dangerous play, CNN would have set up camp outside her house. ESPN would be running week-long panels. She'd be cancelled, sent to sensitivity training, and the league would be reading carefully worded statements like they were hostages. But when Griner throws out a slur and a shoulder check, suddenly it's just competitive fire? Please. You can't preach empowerment while shielding bullies. You can't demand equality while ignoring racial slurs, just because they're aimed in the acceptable direction. That's not empowerment. That's cowardice in a jersey. And to the fans saying, it's just part of the game, really? What game are we talking about? If the game now includes public hate, race baiting, and league-approved violence, then maybe it's not the rulebook that needs changing. Maybe it's the league.
Has happened to her in the last 2 years since graduating college is that she has been abused repeatedly. We have shown you videos just getting elbowed, getting crushed, inbound passes where they ram into her, just absolutely abused, and there clearly is a racial element to it. Here is Brittney Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
Fouled out, had 6, and it was the ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
All right, so she wants to be seen. She knows the cameras are on her. Trash white girl. She wants to be seen saying